All right, Shalom Akim, Shalom. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well, and Shalom to the elect. This is the brothers of Zakar from the Great Millstone Montreal branch, and I want to do this lesson on the events that are currently going in LA, in the USA, concerning these ICE raids and the protests that happened because of these raids and the response of the USA government, which it says here in this article that 700 Marines will deploy as immigration protests continue. It says troops in LA. About 700 Marines from the Marine Corps base in 29 Palms, California will deploy to Los Angeles to support the roughly 300 National Guard members already in the city to control protests against federal immigration raids. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said President Donald Trump had earlier ordered the deployment of 2,000 troops in the move. California government Gavin Newsom criticized as inflammatory. Okay, now who is mainly protesting? Israelites. Okay, mainly of the Northern Kingdom. Okay, which would be um, the so-called Latinos and Native American, but I'm pretty sure it's mainly the tribes of Issachar. Regardless, Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. Okay, and that's who the main target is of this persecution. All right, and so these are the beginning of troubles. Okay, um, because it's the beginning because ultimately all Israel is going to be persecuted. Now Esau is currently showing his horns. Now what I want to go into is the fact that it is actually the anger of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai towards his people. Okay, let's go to the book of Job 19 and verse 29. Okay, this is the anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai towards his people because of their rebellion. Okay, their iniquity and them not returning to their power. Job 19 and 29. Be afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishment of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. Now, who is the sword? Okay, the sword are these Edomites. Okay, these so-called white people. All right, they are the sword of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, as it says in the book of Psalm 17, verse 13, it says here, Arise, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, and these Edomites are the wicked, pursuant to the book of Malachi 1 and 4, Job 9 and 24. Okay, Malachi 1 and 4 says that they are the border of wickedness. Okay, referring to these Edomites. Okay, Esau is the border of wickedness. Okay, and he's also the sword of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, he's the Lord's weapon stick, and the Lord is using him to chastise his people. Okay, as it says, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, so that's why it says when we go back to Job 19 and 29, be afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth, whose wrath? Yahweh Bashem Yahshai's wrath. Okay, the Lord's anger towards his people because of their disobedience, their rebellion. Okay, them despising his word, despising his way. For wrath bringeth the punishment of the sword. Okay, so the Lord is using Esau, his troops, okay, to punish his people, man. Okay, to display his wrath. For wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. Okay, that you may know that Yahweh Bashem Yahshua exists. Okay, and that they may know that he's a power of recompense. Okay, and he's going to judge. Okay, and the scriptures clearly says that the judgment is going to start at his house. First Peter 4 and verse 17, it says here, for the time is come that judgment, okay, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is the judge, okay. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High, okay. Speaking of the Israelites, and if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? Okay, so so the judgment is gonna start with our people. Okay, judgment starts with our people. Okay, and it's only right that a father judges his sons and daughters before he judges um, before he judges outside the house. Okay, all right. So this is what we're seeing. Okay, judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and he's using his weapon stick. Okay, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 5 says, "O Assyrian," now the modern day Assyrians will be these Edomites. Okay, the rod of mine anger. Okay, the rod of mine anger. Okay, so they are the Lord's weapon. They are the Lord's tool, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. All right. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mine of the streets. Okay, as the Lord did before. Okay, he sent these Edomites in the form of the Romans in the time of persecution in Rome in in 70 AD in Rome. Okay, I believe it was 66 to 73 AD. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. The time of the Jews and the Romans war. Okay, which ultimately that was a great persecution against the Israelites. These Romans, they basically um, chased us out of our land. Okay, that's why that period is called the abomination. Esau is the abomination that make it desolate, right? So he he desecrated the land, the temple. Okay, uh, that the Lord used them in the form of the Greeks at the time of Antiochus Epiphanes the Fourth. Okay, um, the Lord sent these Edomites in America against the northern tribes that were here before to chastise them once again. Okay, chastise our people. Okay, you know, and now there's a greater persecution coming, which we're in the beginning of this persecution. All right, and the Lord is doing this because of judgment. Okay, because of the disobedience of our people, our rebellion. Okay, and Esau is nothing but his weapon stick. He's a sword. Okay. Okay. Um, let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 13, and I'll start at verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be ordained of the Most High, meaning these governments are ordained and set up by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All kings and empires are set up by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Whosoever therefore resisted the power resisted the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive themselves damnation. Okay, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the to the evil, wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister. All right, so that goes into these police officers, those militaries. For he is a minister of the Most High for thee for good, to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Okay, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. All right, so you know the judgment is not just happening for no reason. Yahweh Shemel Shai is chastising his people, okay, because of their disobedience. Okay, let's go to the book of Hosea. Five and verse 11. It says here, Ephraim, which is referring to the northern kingdom, is oppressed and broken in judgment because he willingly walked after the commandment, right? Meaning the precepts of man, walking after their own counsel, their own mind. Let's see if we could get in the NLT. Okay. Now, Hosea 5:11 says here in the NLT, the people of Israel will be crushed and broken by my judgment because they are determined to worship idols. Verse 12, therefore will I be unto Ephraim as a moth, and to the house of Judah as rottenness. I will destroy Israel as a moth consumes wood, and I will make Judah as weak as rotten wood, right? Because ultimately, all Israel is going to receive the judgment of the Lord. Okay? Judah, which is referring to so-called blacks, their judgment is coming too. Okay? Okay? It says, when Ephraim saw his sickness and Judah saw his wound, then went Ephraim to the Assyrian and sent to King Jareb, yet could he not heal you nor cure you of your wound. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. I will I will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him. Okay? So great judgment is coming, man. Okay? I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face in their affliction. They will seek me early. All right? So, you know, what we are witnessing is the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. Okay? He was judging his people because of their disobedience, and it's starting with the Northern Kingdom, okay, so-called Latinos and Native American, but ultimately the Southern Kingdom too is going to receive judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, okay. Which is referring to so-called blacks. So I wanted to touch on that, okay, pursuing the recent events, okay. I'll end off by giving all praise, honor, and glorification to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Hakudash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.